Back in the Big Ten finale presented by Reese's as you look at a few additions from the Big Ten to the upcoming college football all-star games, including Max Bulla, who, remember, was suspended from the Rose Bowl. He will play in the East-West Shrine game. Carlos Hyde, Jacob Pedersen, and James White will head to Mobile for the Senior Bowl. And Russ Lande will be there as well, former NFL scout who joins us occasionally here on BTN. Let's get into the additions first. Yep. What's the significance of those and why it's such a late date, Russ?
Well, for Max Bulla, it's huge. It's one of those things where he had a great year, obviously showing he could be a great run defender, be a team leader. But teams in the NFL have real concerns about how well is he going to do in coverage, because that's so vital in today's NFL. This week down at the East-West, he'll get a chance to show his speed, his athleticism out in space. If he does all those things well, maybe second or third round. If he doesn't, could be a third-day draft pick. In terms of Pedersen and White, it's uncommon to get a late invite, but sometimes that happens when other players that were invited to the Senior Bowl decline the invitation, so they get invited. They were already scheduled to go to the East-West. Now they'll probably cancel going to the East-West because at the East-West game, they're probably between 150 to 200 NFL personnel. At the Senior Bowl, there are about 1,500 people there. So you want to be in front of more eyes. That's where they'll go, a chance to show their wares.
They're both big games. Senior Bowl, though, has always had a little bit more
no question.
Prestige. As you look at the list of Big Ten players going to these games, who has the biggest chance to make a statement, starting offensively?
Offensively, I think you're looking at Carlos Hyde from Ohio State. He's a real powerful, strong inside runner. He can change games with his ability to run through contact. NFL teams want to see if he's got the burst to be an outside runner and the hands to contribute as a receiver. If he shows those down in Mobile, you could be talking about a guy that possibly gets into the late first round. Another player I'm really excited to see, Iowa tight end C.J. Fedorowicz. Very athletic tight end with natural hands. NFL teams really want to see, does he have that explosive burst, similar to a guy like Jimmy Graham or Antonio Gates? And if he does, that could really vault him up NFL boards, because NFL teams are really looking to find those tight ends to create mismatch problems. And with his height, his athleticism, and his intelligence, which allows him to line up in a variety of spots, he could really help his draft stock with a great week down in Mobile.
He's been such a matchup issue at this level, whether or not that translates to the NFL. But, man, he is a phenomenal athlete.
Great height, natural receiving skills, very smart kid, so he should be able to pick things up quickly, and that's a huge part of it. Now, if he can prove he's got that top athleticism, then everything is taken.
Let's switch to the defensive side of the ball. Who are you watching there?
Two guys in particular. Everybody wants to get a look at Minnesota defensive lineman Rashid Hageman. This is a kid that NFL teams love because he's got long arms, he's athletic. What they want to identify at this game is, does he have the explosiveness off the ball to get into the backfield and make plays? And does he have the strength to really be a 4-3 defensive tackle, or is he going to be more of a 3-4 defensive end? If he's limited to one after this week, if teams are unsure he can do both, probably hurts his draft stock. But if he really has a good week, could put himself in position to be a late first, high second round pick. And Darqueze Dennard from Michigan State had a great season. NFL teams are really excited about him. They love his instincts. They love his physical coverage. What they want to see from him is, can he change directions and explode to close on the ball? And does he have the long speed to challenge guys like Calvin Johnson, stay in their hip pocket in the NFL? He shows well down in Mobile. He could put himself in position to be one of the first 2 or 3 corners taken and a top 20 pick in the first round.
A Thorpe Award winner. Some of those stats on him are
unbelievable.
I mean, where it's less than a yard per pass attempt in man-to-man.
It tells you how much he's improved throughout his career. Because a year ago, I think you would have looked at him and said, you know, he's a solid prospect, but not an elite guy. But his footwork improved, his aggressiveness to the ball improved, and overall also their defense improved, which obviously helped him. He just looked like a star this year.
That's a great story, too. I'm from a tiny town. Middle Tennessee State had an offer out to him. They backed off of it.
Isn't that amazing?
It's incredible. Michigan State just stumbled upon it. I feel like we have a little bit of a redux here because last year we were talking about Denard Robinson trying to make the transition to wide receiver. We have another Big Ten quarterback trying to do that in Kane Coulter. How big a week for him is it at the Senior Bowl?
Well, it's enormous. I mean, just like Robinson last year, you're going there to prove something you really haven't done regularly. NFL teams are very excited about Coulter because they feel that he's a smart kid who you can line up in a variety of spots if he shows he can be natural catching the ball. So if he goes down to Mobile, catches the ball well, runs good routes, and he doesn't have to do it as well as the receivers that are there, just pretty well because he's new to the position, then NFL teams will really up his value because he's a guy that could play all 3 receiver spots, could be your emergency quarterback, so to your 3rd guy on the roster in a dire situation. He could put himself in position to be a 3rd-round pick with a great week down in Mobile.
You think about a few years ago when he was over 450 yards passing, rushing, and receiving.
Right?
He's a remarkably versatile player, incredible competitor.
Yep,
Be
and
interesting to
that's
see
going to
whether he
help him
can-
make the switch.
Yeah, no doubt. No, he's a competitive kid and obviously did a great job for Northwestern despite the injury that hampered him and his shoulder at quarterback. Russ Lande, you follow him on Twitter at Russ Lande. Great stuff, Russ, and enjoy both of your trips, Shrine Game as well as the Senior Bowl.